through the first ban phase. And Nivea,
Yeah.
no real surprises there.
Yeah, I got to ban it against Kira. Kira versus Seiya. This is such a great matchup here between these two, regarded as pretty much the kings of their region in the mid lane. Kira, back-to-back MVPs for himself. Seiya, 10 titles to his name.
Not just the kings of their region, but I think you can say that Kira is probably the best player ever to come out of the LCL, out of the Russian league, and Seiya is probably the best player to ever come out of the CLS. These are probably the best two players that have ever been created in their regions as well. So a massive rivalry in that mid lane. Ezreal ban, Azir ban, Swain ban, Rakan ban. Nothing too surprising as of yet. Maybe the Ezreal a little bit odd from Gambit.
I like the Rakan ban here if you're not going to first pick it, but now it looks like Caitlyn jumps up in priority very highly. Ezreal, Kai'Sa off the table. There's no Rakan to first pick here, and then there's no Xayah to pair with it, so you don't have to worry about that too much.
Have to see maybe the Caitlyn pick here for the LLM team. Rainbow 7 did call them the CLS team. I'm too used to casting Chaos Latin Gamers now. 2 games in a row got me slightly confused, but the North Latin America team, Rainbow 7. It's going to be the Caitlyn lock-in straight away for them. Karma picked up by Gambit alongside the Jhin for Lodic here.
Yeah, the Karma, a flex pick, can be played in the mid lane, very commonly played in the mid lane on the patches, most recent 8.7, 8.8, but can be flexed the bottom side for Edward. But he's been favoring those playmakers. He's really been feeling it so far. But the Jhin is the one that I have questions about because you can't build Rageblade. It's actually just banned straight up. You cannot build it here at this tournament because it's just got too many interactions where it just stacks the AD too high. And so Jhin, you're going to have to go for more of a crit build, potentially lethality, but it doesn't provide as much as, say, like a Varus would. So we'll see what he's able to do with the lockdown, and the utility is kind of what makes him shine.
Especially against the strength of something like a Caitlyn Morgana lane, that Jhin, if you get caught out, trap's going to come underneath you, you're not really going to be able to escape at all. It's very dangerous for him.
Yeah, Caitlyn Morgana kind of emerged as the counter to Xayah Rakan, and then people just realized, oh, this is just a really oppressive lane in general, and you can play it into almost anything. So it's kind of that combo that's risen up as that S tier, especially when they're together.
Well, we did have the Trundle locked in for Oddie in the jungle, and Kira got the Ornn for Stales in the top lane, you would assume. They're banning out top laners as well. Camille removed by Gambit Esports, and the Vlad taken away by Rainbow 7.
Yeah, kind of hiding those mid lane bans, mid lane picks until later for both teams, making sure that Seiya or Kira have the upper hand in their matchups.
Kira up until now has played the Azir and has played the Cassiopeia. Azir probably the better of his 2 performances.
Yeah, he's 7-0 on Azir so far this year, and so they banned it away from him. And both teams threw a ban at the mid lane there with their kind of their most played, their signature champion so far in this year.
Now we'll get to the final ban from Rainbow 7. Could continue to focus on that mid lane. Could also try and remove a jungler perhaps from the pool of Diamond procs. Is going to be the Rise, so lots of mid lane bans coming out here. Probably falling down to that second tier. And it's Nocturne picked up by Gambit.
And you can see Lodic. Yeah, he's the one who locked it in for him. That was so fast. Nocturne has pretty much got chain buffed. I was asking people backstage before the game started that I thought we'd see Nocturne today. We've gotten like increased damage on his R, increased damage on his Q. The fact that the ultimate now lasts longer so you can mask teleports or have people not be able to TP in during that time. And we're seeing it here because like he got compensated for Duskblade being nerfed, but you never built Duskblade in competitive anyway. So I really want to see what Diamond Prox is able to do.
Living with Vedius as well, he is a big Nocturne
He's Nocturne
fan.
mid,
He likes to play Nocturne mid. It's not going to happen in this game. If it does, I'm going to be...
If it does, Vedius can come up here and kick me off.
That would, he can kick me off. In all honesty, if Nocturne mid's being played, he can cast the entire game by himself. It's a Karthus! That's a Karthus lock here for Kira in the mid lane as well. Sion and Orianna were picked by Rainbow 7, but very fast second pick phase by Gambit Esports.
Yeah, they're just rolling with the punches. They're just saying, all right, this is what we want. This is what we want. Boom. Nocturne locked in for them. Karthus locked in for them. Karthus also got some buffs to his Q, his lay waste. Makes it so that he's able to just deal more damage throughout all parts of the game. I really want to see what he runs in terms of his Keystone. Because I've seen Predator Karthus, where you Predator and then ulti, and it does a lot of extra damage. So
I can see that working. I can see how that would work. That'd be incredible. Yes, I want you to talk to me about this team composition coming out from Gambit, because having something like a Karthus and a Nocturne come in, things that we don't see regularly, really changes up the game plan for them. What are they actually aiming to do here, Zyrian?
So it's a lot of semi-globals. You have the TP from the top lane, you have the Nocturne ultimate, and then you also have the Karthus that can contribute from being anywhere on the map with his global. So bottom lane focus onto White Lotus and to Genthix might be the name of the game here, trying to make sure that you have this Jhin that can lock people down, but dives will be big. If you can get them low enough for the Karthus to finish them off, there's not really much they can do about it. And so you're looking to focus a lane in particular. I don't know which one, but that's also something that Rainbow Seven have to keep in mind. They don't know exactly what's going to get focused here, because if they find an opening on the side of Gambit, they can really go anywhere once they get those flashes.
I have to see Rainbow Seven a much more traditional team composition. You've got your front line, you've got your back line, you've got your damage dealers. We are going to get onto the Summoner's Rift for the final game of day one here at MSI.
And what I love here is, like you said, standard composition, but it kind of protect the flower, protect White Lotus, preserve him, make sure that he doesn't get touched here. You have the Black Shield from the Morgana. You have the Orianna Ball from Seiya. This is pretty much what you're looking for. I usually see Caitlyn with like one of these guys. Both of them just means that he has that extra protection where you Black Shield him, you give him the Ori Shield, he walks up to turrets when there's no minion wave and just starts shooting it so he can get some extra damage on it. Becomes very White Lotus based here from Rainbow Seven. So Gambit, I assume that they're going to try to shut that down, because that's the big win condition here from Rainbow Seven.
Rainbow Seven were trying to sneak something in towards that bottom lane as well, with Giral coming across, but he is just going to go back and work his way up towards the top lane. Seiya should have time to back and get back into the lane as well here, so no real concerns for him apart from the gold that Edward earned off the empowered Q.
Yeah, and ooh, okay. So something I want to talk about here is some of the rune choices that we have. So Diamond Prox went for attack speed based precision instead of electrocute. So he's looking for press the attack for later on in fights. One of the great things about press the attack is if you are able to get tanky on like a Trundle or a Nocturne, you're actually contributing something to the team fight beyond, just some damage. You're able to actually increase everybody else's damage to that tank target and help everybody else shred them. But another thing I really like here is Kira has precision secondary. Helps you auto-attack a little bit, but the big thing is we changed presence of mind. It's no longer the free mana every time you level up or get a takedown. It's now if you kill somebody, you get 10% off your ulti cooldown, which is exactly what you want as Karthus. You kill somebody, you get to ulti more often.
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. Like Kira did try and steal away a Razorbeak there. They recess on him, so he wasn't able to get it. That's why my hands went to my head, Zyrian. It wasn't that your point was so shocking to me.
I like to think that was the reason.
Yeah.
You could have just let me live in my ignorance.
In the future, that will be what I do. But we see the first binding into the trap, into the damage. Edward has the flash and the heal used by Lodic. We talked about that. We talked about the CC chain. That's exactly what White Lotus and Genthix want to do in this bottom lane.
Yeah, it's just an impressive lane. The Morgana Caitlyn is so impressive. And now we're going to have the Nocturne on the bottom side of the map. But look at that, Audi already going into the jungle. He is kind of the living ward right now.
Diamond Prox was able to get it, the pillar on the wrong side as well. So
yeah.
Audi unable to get anything out of that invade. Can try and secure the Scuttle Cup for himself. He knows that Diamond Prox is low on mana.
Yeah, he does get protection though for his bottom lane. So it's kind of, he walks up, he'll ward it, make sure that Nocturne is on this side and track him so that you can be up this far in this lane. Audi's going to harass Diamond Prox here.
Not quite get to the Blaskin. Diamond Prox tries to turn it around with the fear. Audi flees away in terror. Kira the first one to react as well. And Audi has the flash, but the exhaust comes out. Diamond Prox with the flash of his own. First blood to Kira and the double buffs as well.
Exactly, the double buffs go over to him. So now he's going to have that blue, and he can just keep spamming over and over again. Throw the Skittles out.
Taste the rainbow, Rainbow 7. That's what he's saying. He's like, Seiya, it's in the name. Taste the rainbow. Take all of those skills to your face. It's so helpful for the Karthus in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Seiya pretty much has no mana now, so he's actually going to get a really bad back timer where Kira might be able to back here. I wonder what he'll go for. Potentially the tier. He doesn't want the lane frozen on him, so nice damage.
Just pushing Seiya back a little bit more. Does have the minion dematerializer, so we'll try and clear out that wave, but do we see Kira back early here? Because he went exhausted, didn't go teleport on the Karthus, so can't get back into the lane easily.
Yeah, no, Kira's going to stay because Seiya doesn't have mana to actually clear this next wave. So he's going to get this cannon minion. Adi's actually here to kind of stop this.
No flash. There's the pillar as well. Seiya uses the heal very early on, but Kira tries to turn it back around. The flash comes out from Seiya. Odi gets the kill. And should be able to dodge the Skittles! Delicious, delicious death in the mid lane.
Oh, so the buffs went back over to Adi, and then Kira just said, nobody gets these buffs. Buffs or no?
No buffs for you. That Karthus pick has just really upset the apple cart here for Rainbow Seven. Some inventiveness from Gambit Esports, something that's put them to that 2-0 position in this group.
Yeah, the inventiveness, the fact that they're able to kind of pull out these picks and say, hey, we're coming into a tournament where a lot has been hidden for 2 patches. You've been practicing these things behind closed doors. You can get that X factor going for you. And Kira able to kill Adi here, who wanted to just sidestep it, but he actually stays inside of the range for a little longer because of the sidestep. He's trying to get cute there. You can see, this has been their performance today. Kira's turning this around. This looks like Seiya has just been crushing, but Gambit are the ones that are 2-0, and Kira, low percent of his team's damage because Lodic popped off, and Stejos played a GP game. But right now, he's got the 2-1 on this Karthus. And that throws off a lot of your internal kind of timers for, oh, he's going to hit level 6 at this point. He's going to do X amount of damage. So if he starts getting items a little bit faster because these kills, it really does kind of make it so he hits those break points with his ulti where he can just actually just obliterate a team.
It's the influence on the rest of the map as well, isn't it? He's already got to level 6. If Diamond Prox can get to level 6 soon as well, get Lodic up towards that as well, you've got the combination of the curtain call into the paranoia, into the ult.
Yeah, and I said they could pretty much go anywhere. Seiya doesn't have flash right now. He's kind of the prime target to go for, is to crack open mid lane to then crack open bottom lane. So once Diamond Prox hits 6, which will be 1 or 2 more camps here, he'll be able to actually use that paranoia and go straight forward. One of the people who doesn't have flash.
So although they've had a strong early push in this bottom lane, White Lotus and Genthix aren't actually that far ahead of Lodic and Edward. You look at it, it's a CS difference of about 6-7 CS. The wave's coming in, so it'll probably end up being about that 10 mark. But the question is when they can really take this bot lane tower, because it's getting to the point where if they go too aggressive for the tower, you're going to be met by a paranoia, by a teleport, by the Requiem coming out from Karthus as well. So you need to speed up that bot lane a little bit if you really want to take advantage as Rainbow Seven. Yeah,
it changes a lot of your ward patterns too, because normally in that situation, you would say, okay, let's protect bottom, let's go ward up the enemy blue buff, some of those exits, but the Nocturne can actually just lane gank. So, like you said, it's very difficult once it gets to that point, and you have to start tracking the Nocturne by fighting him. Right now, he's keying off of the mid lane where he has an advantage.
Good pillar there from Odi to stop them in their tracks. He's been consistently aggressive. We saw it in the game against Chaos Latin Gamers. Sometimes it does come back to bite him, so he needs to be a little bit careful as to how far he pushes forward.
Yeah, there's such a thing as too aggressive, and we definitely saw it from Odi earlier today. But he's 1-2. He really has to kind of get that in check, because he's somebody that we've looked to on Rainbow Seven as one of the people who really gets the team going, who gets White Lotus and Seiya going. And it just hasn't been his day so far.
So Seiya has gone back, picked himself up the tier, should be helpful with those mana issues he was having in the mid lane, starting to scale up just a little bit. You've got White Lotus only on a BF sword at the moment, but no actual AD coming out from Lodic at all. He's got the Boots of Swiftness, the dagger, and the Brawler's Glove as well for a bit of crit, but not actually got that much damage under his belt.
Yeah, a lot of Jins just start boots and then 3 potions, and then they go ahead and they get themselves, 4 potions, and then they go ahead and they run really quickly, then they get themselves Swifties first items so that they can hit you with the 3 shots, and then the 4th shot is like basically you're getting extra AD with the automatic crit. Hold on,
Shockwave into knockup here from Dural, and Kira. That's what you have to do to shut down a mid laner who's ahead. Great roam down from Dural, the leader of the team, coming up big for Rainbow Seven.
Yeah, Dural actually came down after he got the shove. He kind of was just spotted out in vision, and Kira just didn't respect it. His flash was down for about 5 seconds when that started, so it looked like it was up, but it wasn't just quite.
Here's the lane camp queue we're talking about, though, Zyrene. White Lotus and Genthix are going to play safe. Level 6 on White Lotus. No 6 yet on Genthix, but he does have the flash and the exhaust up. Oh. Edward steps forward.
Oh, the Black Shield used!
Time around, the Black Shield's already been used, as you say. Here comes the curtain call. Requiem as well. Paranoia not in range. Whee! Out of sight, here he goes, right onto the back line. Genthix goes down. Diamond Prox gets away. And Gambit execute their bot lane dive.
Yep, they end up getting that kill. It's not onto White Lotus, but they get Genthix, who wasn't able to flash there. And still just Ended up getting blown up by that fourth shot there from Lodic. That is such a scary combo where it's just a lot of effective range. The Nocturne ultimate comes out, and then you have the Curtain Call, which is, you're blind, right? Normally you can see it coming and dodge it, but at that point, you're just dancing, hoping, you don't get hit.
Dancing in the dark. Gantix was unable to dodge it, and it gives Gambit that extra kill. Only a 400 gold lead for them, though. Across the board, it's still pretty even in terms of laning stats and kills. The Ocean Drake going over to Gambit would be very strong for them, especially for the Karthus in the mid lane for the extra mana regeneration that can help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. You really want that, especially since it's not going for tier or anything like that. He has the Lost Chapter instead. We'll see this one more time. It looks like Diamond Prox actually has to get in range too, because like the level 6 Nocturne, it takes a while. He's like, I gotta get in range, gotta get in range, gotta get in range. Needs vision, and then he gets vision off of the ultimate there. So if they had just backed up and none of those shots from Lodic had landed, I don't think he'd be able to ultimate because he couldn't see them.
It's true. Part of it as well as you talked about in Pick and Ban, the ability to deny teleports in as well, stopping Dural from being able to join the back of that fight and maybe somehow turning it around by holding on to the paranoia before you activate the second part of it.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to be a little critical here. I thought that was actually Gentik's fault because he had black shielded before anything really needed to be black shielded. So when you do that, that is basically the tool that the enemies are waiting for to be on cooldown. That's when they pounce. So whichever person he had used black shield on, the other one just becomes the target. You have to do it reactively. You cannot do it preemptively against teams when they're looking for a gank.
And maybe part of that is a bit of apprehension from the Rainbow 7 bottom lane. Losing to KLG would definitely have set them back mentally. You always have to wonder whether when you get to the third game of the day and it hasn't quite gone your way, you're able to react in the same way you would if you were on a high momentum swing. But they're still pretty even in this game. You can't count them out at all. Gambit are the ones making the plays, but still, CS even in the mid lane, even in the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, I was just looking at the CS, and I can't remember the last time that I saw top lane tanks having the same CS as their mid laners at this point in the game, or even just more. Like everybody's at that 100. Everybody's getting the cash this game.
And Dural has been like roaming around the map as well. Made that gank mid, now he's going down towards the bottom lane as well. Flash away from Edward, but the chase is on. The ace comes down. Edward not in a good spot at all. Eventually will fall to White Lotus. And R7 put their third kill on the map.
Yeah, that's 4 people down in the bottom lane. They're going to try to force this turret down. You talked about it where it becomes harder to get this turret once the Nocturne has the ultimate. And this turret was already half HP.
Oh, they're just diving straight on towards that backline. Requiem not enough though, and Diamond Prox falls. Teleport coming in, and the Ornn cancelled straight away, but they keep the turret alive for the moment.
Yeah, just for the moment though. They're going to start backing right up to this turret. They had to wait for another minion wave, and it'll be about 15 seconds. So that's actually going to save it because they don't want to stick around for that.
Makes sense, but you can see that Diamond Prox can dive onto the backline, but when we get to coordinated team fights, that does not work as well. He's going to be collapsed upon. He's going to be dived on by the rest of R7.
Yeah, that's he can do it, but should he do it?
This is why Vedius is not a good Nocturne mid player, because he does it all the time. And he's like, why am I plat 4 and you're high diamond? I'm like, because you're bad at the game. Anyway, let's focus on the game itself.
Well, no, I'd like to hear more about this. Like,
I think we should look at Rainbow 7 versus Gambit. I shouldn't blame him unless I'm casting with him, really.
No, he can't defend himself. That's the best time.
That's true. That's true. Rainbow 7, 1,000 gold ahead here. 13 minutes into the game, but it's still very even between the two of them. Rapid Fire Cannon now finished on Lodic. Still no first item on White Lotus.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's going to go for the full completed Infinity Edge first. Some Caitlyn's do that because of the multiplier from your headshot is based off of having increased crit damage, so you do even more with it, but we'll see. A lot of people go for the Zeal, the Static Shiv first, but with the Rapid Fire Cannon completed from Lodic, this gives him a lot of mobility and a lot of range.
Thought he was going to face check into Oddie there, but able just to lay down the trap and get himself away.
Yeah, I love the Swifty boots from him and then going immediately for the Rapid Fire Cannon. He doesn't have like extra AD, but he has a lot of ways to get his 4th shot off, and he also has a lot of ways to just dodge Morgana Binding, which is the thing that's going to kill you.
That ability just to relocate and position in the fights is something that...
it's invaluable, honestly.
Yeah, and it's something Lodic was praised for. It's one of the reasons he actually became part of the team, why he replaced Blasting, was because he was a little bit safer, he was better at positioning in team fights, and he wasn't this 100% or 0%
yeah, less variance to him. Very consistent in what he's going to bring to a team.
Looks like Diamond's trying to set up down towards this bottom lane once again, but unable to do it.
I love this from Kira. He has the 2 penetration items that he needs, the Oblivion Orb and the Spell Pin Boots. AP not as effective on Karthus, so once you have a lot of penetration, that's really when your ultimate is going to hit the hardest.
Makes a lot of sense. Expect to see him build up towards some of that AP as the game progresses, even though Rabadon's Death Cap would help him out.
Yeah, for example, right now, he has 33 magic penetration. White Lotus has 33 MR. Genthix has 32 MR.
True damage.
32 MR for Seiya when his ball isn't on him. So he's basically doing true damage to 3 people on the team.
And if they can coordinate that with the Paranoia, with even the Call of the Forge God coming out from Stales, it just gives you this chain of damage, chain of CC. Shockwave Fuse, Exhaust comes out as well. Kira didn't have the vision around to know where Odi was, so had to use the Summoner.
Man, I love this from Giral. He used the Banner Command mid, so now that's pushing in Kira, and Kira has to kind of try to CS this under the turret. Diamond Prox, though, down bottom, looking for another play.
Has now been spotted out. There's the Requiem. The damage onto Lotus is devastating. However, they do get Edward in response. 4th shot's going to come out here. Genthix dodges to the side, but Diamond Prox had the smite down and is able to capitalize.
Yeah, they use the Black Shield again. It gets taken off immediately by Edward using a Mantra Q, and then they just dive. And right now, it's just jamming this combination down the throats of Rainbow 7. The Jhin plus the Nocturne constantly just going for these dives, and it's working out so far.
It is, but it's not actually putting Rainbow 7 too far behind. We'll have a look at exactly the state of the game after this.
Yeah, but the big thing is White Lotus is the team composition right now. He has the Morgana and the Orianna almost solely to protect him. Then they have the front line of the Scion, and the Trundle's supposed to just whittle down the front line of Gambit. So this is a very White Lotus-focused composition where they should be winning the bottom lane. They didn't crack the bottom tier 1 turret. They can't get out of this matchup just yet, and now they have to keep kind of suffering through it.
Odi flashed away here. Call of Fortune is going to come out as well, knock him up. There's another kill for Gambit. Odi just way too overextended in the Gambit jungle. You talked about the Protect the Flower composition. Well, White Lotus now has the first Thorn on that flower, Infinity Edge completed, but he is behind Lodic, as you said, in terms of pure itemization.
Yeah, but he's going to get this turret. Ooh, they're making him pick turret
or Steos. And Steos wins out for the moment. Paranoia comes out as well. Long range. Captive Audience will catch him out. White Lotus there as well. The flash. Genthix down to the Requiem. Goodbye! Steos actually steals the kill in the end. Diamond keeps him alive. Perfect dive from Gambit.
And I thought that was going to be, hey, let's give it over to Kira. Because they didn't finish him off, they take more turret shots, they get bound, and then he ends up dying. But no, the heal comes through. They get first turret. Gambit off to a fantastic start.
And that's what they've been building towards, getting their first tower, a 2,000 gold lead as well. Yes, Giral is trying to answer it in the top lane, but they get their second Ocean as well off the back of this. Gambit, so many objectives, a domino effect just from continuously ganking White Lotus and Genthix.
And we had talked about it at the start. When you asked me about the compositions, what is Gambit going to try to do? They could go anywhere, but the bottom lane is the big juicy point that they really want to shut down. They still haven't lost their bottom tier 1 turret because of all the pressure they've been putting on this S-tier matchup of the Caitlyn Morgana, which should be winning, which should be getting that turret first, and they're just reversing it. And that is so well played from Gambit. And I gotta say, Diamond Prox, he came in here and he was not looking good. Statistics-wise, he was one of the worst junglers in their region. He had very low jungle proximity. The team was winning kind of without him, and now he's being a huge contributor to them right now. He's got a large amount of that kill participation. He had the lowest KP out of all the junglers in the LCL. And now he's coming in and he's showing us, hey, this isn't going to be like Worlds 2017 in those play-ins where Gambit went 0-4.
7 out of 8 kills he has been involved in. The ability just to be spotted on the map, to be catching people out as well is so good from Diamond Prox at the moment.
And this has to be redemption for him because he was the person that came into Worlds 2017. It was like, oh, it's the legacy of Diamond Prox and Edward. And then it was kind of the reality of, hey, Diamond Prox is no longer that superstar jungler from before, a hard pill to swallow for his fans. But here is something that they can be proud of. Diamond Prox is in full effect here in this game.
And I think it's redemption for the entirety of Gambit as well. Like, you look across this team, you've got Steos and Kira, who are on Albus Nox in 2015. You've got Diamond Prox and Edward, who are on Gambit and Moscow 5 and have this long-term legacy as a team. And last year at Worlds, they just didn't step up to the plate. Here, they're looking to go 3-0 in their group. They're looking to make it into the knockout stage and then hopefully to groups as well.
And they've only made one change. They've only made one change. Loaded coming in as a rookie who's still attending university simultaneously to play here. This is his first competitive split, his first competitive season, and honestly, one of the first of kind of handfuls of his competitive games. And being on the stage, international stage that early is very daunting, but he is playing incredibly well. Up against somebody like White Lotus and Rainbow Seven.
And matching up into one of the AD carries that is renowned the world over for being an incredible carry.
Man, I just looked at the builds, and I have to put an addendum to something. I said, you didn't even go Duskblade on Nocturne anyway.
You do if you're 2-1-5.
Apparently you do. So I guess Diamond Prox is just looking for the full-on, just kill White Lotus. Black Shield doesn't do anything against this physical damage. Just tries to burst him, so it'll continue a snowball if they keep the pressure up. If you wait and allow them to like build up resistances and get some items, then it's going to be less effective. But for now, if your goal is to just kill White Lotus, you have to keep doing that. Ultimate on cooldown, cycle it, use those globals. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, I just looked at it, I was like, the penetration items are through for Kira. He also has a Luden's Echo.
Yep.
So it's just all about, hey, you dive in, everybody just presses their R at the same time and tries to blow up one or two people.
Ludens and the Morello finish now as well, so he's in a very good spot on that Karthus in the mid lane. I think White Lotus, we talk about how you have to protect the flower. I think if he gets dived on, he's going to last about as long as a plant in university accommodation. They tend to die pretty quickly. You get to water them. I had one that I watered for a year. Turned out it was plastic. I actually watered a plant in my accommodation for a year, thinking it was real. I was like, I'm keeping it alive.
I was walking through IKEA the other day because I had recently moved, and my friends were like, oh, these plants look so real. And I was like, it's because they are real. It's like, they expected plastic at that point. So
I guess that makes
it's completely opposite.
Just reversed. Roles reversed. I don't feel as foolish now. I'm sure Rainbow Seven feel pretty foolish as they have fallen to Gambit thus far, but still only 1,500 gold behind, remember. If they can get to the late game, if they can get to a point where White Lotus is sitting on 2-3 items, they are still in a very strong spot.
Yeah, and if they can kind of protect White Lotus in the later parts of the game and just stop giving things up right now, then they're going to be in a great spot, like you said.
But they have lost that bot lane tower. You can see Kira's moved up towards the top lane now to try and continue to push that in against Saya, who is answering him.
And I think that's better for Gambit, because Kira can still be effective on the map with his ultimate, whereas Saya is pretty much just on wave clear duty. This is just hope the rest of the map goes your way, or you can just try to get a sneaky kind of rotation in there.
And once again, Diamondbox is waiting around the mid lane. He is waiting in the wings for the opportune moment to strike. They have a pink ward in that bush, which means he's not spotted out. Odie is waiting there as well. He's aware that Diamondbox wants to be near this mid lane. And it feels like you're just waiting for the next time they pull the trigger. The next time they're willing to all press R at the same time.
But then for White Lotus and for Rainbow Seven, it's trying to deny that opportunity, or a good-looking opportunity. But they just use the Rift Herald, so a push is coming here, where Rainbow Seven will walk past that mid lane point. There it is.
Slightly Diamondbox. There's the Requiem as well. They're all in darkness, and Diamondbox doesn't even go in.
Ooh.
Just accepts that the darkness comes out. Tower falls to the Rift Herald as well.
Yeah, I was like, if he went on White Lotus there, I'm pretty sure he kills it. Rank 2 ultimate, Duskblade, but doesn't want to risk it at all, because you can flash away from it.
You can, and you've got the heal, and you've got the exhaust on Genthix as well, something that does shut down those assassins if they get exhausted on their way. Kira was making his way down, but with the mid lane tower down now, Gambit willing just to reset and wait for that next rotation of ultimates. They're not on the longest timers, but it's long enough that R7, if they can get away from them without losing a player, they're very happy.
Yep, bottom turret's going to go down, so that's actually Rainbow Seven. 3 turrets to 1 off of the rotations that they've been making, so they have all those outer turrets down. They have more map pressure now. But it's just when that's the thing, when you have a lot of map pressure, but you're not really ahead, it kind of sucks, because it means that in order to get more of an advantage, you have to push up to a point where you don't have safety behind you. And so the Nocturne will just ulti, go after the Caitlyn, and right there you saw he didn't go because the tier 1 turret's there. If they're pushing up to the tier 2 of the enemies, he has a long way to go before safety is right there. So you expose yourself, you have to expose yourself more to get more of an advantage when you're at this point as Rainbow Seven.
I think the only good thing for Rainbow Seven in that is you kind of know when the enemy has the opportunity to make the play, because it's like they haven't got ults, so it's fine. Just wait for them to burn them, and then you walk forward and you get that deep vision. But as you say, it is very tough.
Or you can do kind of what Gambit did, where they were like, hey, this bottom turret, it's so defenseless. It's got like 300 HP. Why don't you come get it, White Lotus? TP comes through. Everything comes through. You got to make it look juicy. You got to bait them into these fights that are actually bad for them. Use objectives as bait. So you expect Rainbow Seven to, if they want to get back in this game, to start using things like Baron and the trap lines to do that, but also make it so that there's situations where White Lotus can get away with summoners and you bait like Diamond Procs to overcommit.
That's true. We haven't seen Gambit really fall for those traps yet at MSI. We are only 3 games in for them as well, so you have to give them some time to make mistakes, I'm sure. Especially against Rainbow Seven, who are seen as perhaps the second strongest team in the group, although maybe Chaos Latin Gamers is now challenging to take away that spot.
Well, they came in as, the obvious first for a lot of people. The Gambit are here surprising because they went 0-4 with the same lineup minus 1 person, and Rainbow Seven had gone 2-2 back as Lion Gaming, almost took down WE, and they played pretty good set against Cloud9. It's like, you would expect that team to flourish, but look at this. Diamond Procs.
We're talking about has to pop the paranoia. Doesn't really have a way out of here, but Lodik is on his way down as well. There's the flash. It was just the control. That was the trap for Diamond Procs.
Yeah, you just got to make sure that you can control these areas and then have him be in those situations. But now he has no flash. So when he commits to his ultimate, he's committed. He can't get out at that point. And that just means that Diamond Procs may actually play defensively for the next 5 minutes before his flash is back up. But as Gambit, you don't want to see that because you've had your foot on the gas pedal, and Rainbow Seven have gotten turrets under your nose, and now White Lotus is hitting some item spikes where he's not as far behind as he was before, and you can't keep shutting him down because now they just keep grouping. So it's actually really good for Rainbow Seven to make sure that the pace of the game slows down so they can keep scaling.
You've already got 2 items finished on towards White Lotus. He's got a Vampiric Scepter as well, so maybe a BF sword, a Bloodthirster next.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. That extra shield against the Nocturne would definitely help him out as well.
Yeah, it's really good also against the Karthus. But
helps against Steos as well, who is not as tanky as he would like to be. White Lotus going in for this, but the Blast Cone gets him out. Red buff from White Lotus will slow down Steos. There's the ace in the hole as well. It's not going to be enough to eat through the hide of a Forged God.
Yep, still gets the flash though. Another important summoner spell, which means that Gambit will once again continue to play more defensive because they don't have those spells to commit.
And it's kind of offsetting the timers for Gambit as well. If they have all of these things up at the same time, they know they can say go, but if the Paranoia's down when the Requiem's up, or the Flash is down when all the ults are up, then you can delay them from making that optimal engage.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you pointed that out because a lot of the times it happens with back timers where it's like, I need to back because I have 300 gold to this item. It's like, all right, you catch the wave, you back, and then as soon as you get back out on the field, somebody's like, I'm 100 gold for this item. It's like you never get to fight. That's kind of what's happening with the summoner spells and the abilities here.
Paranoia coming out though, there's the Requiem, and it's all combining for them. Look at that backline get shredded. Genthix goes low, Saya goes golden as well, but Kira's here for the fight. Teleport coming in. Look at the wall of pain. The curtain call comes out as well. Great shockwave from Saya, but Saya is the first to fall now in the midst of it all. Jural not in good shape at all. Gonna get taken very low. It manages to escape for the moment, but Lodik is having none of that. Flash forward, get the kill, and Gambit get 2.
Gambit popping off right now, and that might be the Baron if they really want to commit to it. They have the tanks, they have the damage. It's just Audi is up right now, but he has no flash to actually flash into the pit. Kira, contribute damage over the wall with Qs.
And no real wards here for R7 either, so it would have to just be a pure face check from Audi.
And I don't think he can make it in there. You see that Edward is saying, nope, nothing to do with that. He finds Audi in the jungle.
Even ignites him.
He's dead.
Long range deadly flourish, great binding will slow him up, but Edward is just like, okay, AD carry can't get it, I'll take the kill instead, and they're going to push in towards this bottom lane now.
But that means Gambit, they're on the cusp of going 3-0. The team that went 0-4 back in the World's group stage up against Rainbow Seven was in their group.
And Rainbow Seven are on the cusp of going 1-2 after being the favorites in the group, falling behind their South Latin American counterparts in KLG, not where they would want to be. We have to remember there is another day of action for this group. Day 3, Saturday, they will play another round robin. So all of these teams have an opportunity to rise or fall still in the ranks. It's not decided today, but starting off 3-0 when you can only qualify after being top of your group would be absolutely sublime for Gambit Esports. They have a 6,000 gold lead, they've got Triple Dragon, they've got Baron. They are in a perfect spot to start closing out this game.
Yeah, and they have such a level advantage as well Lodic is a level and a half up over White Lotus, but the big thing here is White Lotus sitting around with 36 magic resistance. There's 33 magic pen for Kira, but his ultimate does 950 damage right now, and White Lotus has 1500 HP.
You can see it in this fight. Like, White Lotus and Seiya just get nuked.
Yeah, he does about half his HP, plus if you're going to factor in Luden's Echo on top of it, Kira just obliterates these fights by just pressing R. And you can see White Lotus has to play so far back for the whole part of the fight afterwards, and then Girol comes in, and then he just gets taken out. Look at that damage.
Monstrous from Kira and from Lodic, who have to remember he's still at university. He's just coming into this team as the rookie and is really stepping up, willing to make the aggressive plays when needed, willing to be defensive when needed as well. Had good performances on both the Jhin and the Kai'Sa. Now they are looking just to close out this game. Minute and a half left on the Baron. They've got Diamondbox just roaming around this bottom side jungle, can join either fight if needed.
Yeah, you can see he's just kind of camping there, just waiting. Yeah, he even backs up. There's a ward in there. He does have sweeper, but it's just, is he going to sweep it? No?
No, not yet. But now we actually see Odi come down towards this bottom lane. Maybe we'll see a bit more aggression from Gambit in the mid. Call of the Forge God comes out. There's Paranoia as well, just diving on towards Genthix and White Lotus. A double with the Requiem, and Gambit are absolutely shredding through Rainbow 7. They have found the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and it is looking mighty pretty for them.
And they're going to keep pushing up here. Kira's going to get that bottom side of the map. And man, that presence of mind. He got 3 procs of presence of mind there. The ultimate cooldown for that should have been 95 seconds. It went down to 40. He almost has his Karthus ultimate back up. 25 seconds on that.
That is absolutely disgusting. They're pushing in the mid lane for the inhibitor and bot at the same time. Inhib falls mid, Inhib will fall bot as well, and Gambit can just reset off this if they want. They don't need to close the game out yet, but if they catch Seiya, they can. Unable to get the final connection.
And as White Lotus and Girol respawn, Kira now has his ultimate pack up because of the presence of mind. And he was bottom lane that whole time. Got 2 kills, 1 assist, counts as a takedown. Now they're going to pick up this Ocean Drake, reset, get back out on the map, and they'll just go towards that top side of the map. And I think they'll just do it again. Just throw out the Karthus ultimate, chunk out White Lotus, who can't even sustain that much damage. It's also going to chunk out Genthix. And we'll see right here what happens. I got to watch these health bars. Knockup happens onto White Lotus. Gets shot once. Popped from half HP.
That is not pretty. I'm not sure we should be putting that on before 9 o'clock at night. It's, yeah, that is pretty disgusting for me.
Yeah.
3,000 damage in the last team fight. Equaled by Lodic as well. He's doing a lot of work on the Jhin.
So he did 3,000 damage in the last team fight. He wasn't there! His ultimate does 1,000 damage right now when I mouse over it. And if he's doing true damage to Genthix or White Lotus, that's 2,000 right there. Factor in everybody else. He did more damage, almost as much damage as his AD carry without even being there. That's one ability.
That's a prime mid laner for anyone who wants to just split push. He's now got the Void Staff completed as well, so it's going to be even more penetration for him. There is a fiery Edge of Death for Lodic, upgraded that Infinity Edge.
I like that better than Molten Edge. Fiery Edge of Death.
I took inspiration from Molten Edge and I just twisted it around a little bit. 17,000 damage from Kira. It's just devastating for Rainbow 7. They didn't have an answer for this last pick, Karthus. They haven't had an answer for the Nocturne either from Gambit.
But they tried to put all their eggs in the White Lotus basket here, and you can see he did the most damage on his team, or he's done about the same amount of damage as Lodic, but it's just the rest of the team is a little bit more utility-based for him. Everybody's behind. He's not as far ahead as he should have been in a Caitlyn Morgana matchup because of the way the Gambit played the early game.
No art incentive to facilitate him either. The Requiem comes out and Empire is reborn. Lodic gets the kill. The curtain call coming out from the long range as well. Genthix trying to dodge away to the side. Diamondbox sacrifices himself, but really all Gambit want is this inhibitor. Kira will join up with Lodic and the rest of the squad. They should be able to take this one down pretty easily. Steos is tanking it up. Girol trying to get him from the side.
This composition is literally 4 people pressed R at the same time. Kira's going in.
Kira flashes in onto White Lotus, does die in the end. No Requiem for him from beyond the grave, but they just want this inhibitor. Maybe Gambit are pushing a little bit too hard with this man disadvantage. Lodic not quite able to get the final shot, does get it in the end. The binary doesn't connect off towards the side. Lotus low, but he can push forward into this fight. Gambit realized they can't do too much more.
But that still buys time. Hold on if they can. Ooh, there's
a turret there, Gerald. Oh, he would not pass a driving test. Swerve straight into it.
Yeah, no drift in here for him. Not even a C-class driver's license. But anyway, down bottom side, they're going to have to clear out these waves. That actually, the fact that Kira committed so hard to that, doesn't have flash or exhaust for the next fight, means he's primed for a shockwave as a target. And Baron's about to come up in 30 seconds. So that actually gave Rainbow Seven so much breathing room when they could have just taken it slow. Yeah, this is press R. There's 4 R buttons being pressed here. The Jin does it a little bit later. But that's just a huge commit there from Diamond Prox onto White Lotus in the back line. He's saying, I get your summoners now, so the next time I do this, I'll be able to kill you.
Yeah, but I think at this point, Gambit should just back away. Like, you're tanking the tower with your top laner. Yes, there are minion waves pushing in, but maybe just accept you can't go further.
Yeah, I think it's because he said White Lotus doesn't have flash or heal. I can exhaust him and kill him, but he's not able to reach him and deal enough damage there. But Gambit, looks like this is going to be an uncontested Baron.
This should be curtains as well for the game. Gambit with a Baron, 3 waves pushing in, double supers in the side waves. Kira can split push, Diamond can split push if he wants, Stales can split push if he wants. Should be an easy closeout of this game for them.
Yeah, you'd expect the closeout would come mostly from the Banner of Command plus the Baron. And there are no more dematerializers here on the side of Rainbow Seven. So if they can just walk those minions in, it'll be a way that Gambit can actually win. But I don't think they have cannons now. It's all supers.
Kind of screwed by the fact they took too many inhibitors.
Yeah, they
should have left one alive.
They were too good at taking structures.
Well, they can of course banner up a caster minion.
It's not the same. Wait, there's a cannon. Okay.
Now we're going to get the cannon up, so that means the inhibitor spawning back in the mid lane, but the cannon will help them push towards these Nexus towers. Gambit knocking on the door of 3-0 on day 1. There's the Requiem as well. White Lotus shielded up through it, and he loses half of his health. There's the call of the Forge God as well. Call opens up, Diamond Prox on the backline, but he is caught out. White Lotus still alive in this fight, as is the Nexus tower, and Kira's up towards the side. Remember, the Shockwave is available here. It's going to catch out onto Kira. Stehos, Lodic, and Edward pushing onto the Nexus, though, alongside the Super Minions. This should be it for Gambit. Just need Lodic to auto-attack that Nexus. One more shot will do it, and Gambit go undefeated on day 1 here at MSI.
And Diamond Prox pops out of his seat. Absolutely elated. This is redemption for him from the world's performance. The 0-4 that Gambit suffered. The fact that they dropped 2 games as well. 2 Lion Gaming. Now 3-0 at the end of day 1. And that means that they start getting into the process of knocking teams out. They win 1 more. Ascension cannot make it out of the group. They win 2 more. It means Chaos Latin Gamers are going to be in the spot where they can't make it out. And Gambit now hold the momentum.
In such a strong position going into Saturday's games. Of course, we have a whole day of action before we even get there. Zyrene, Supermassive playing up tomorrow, one of the favorites for that group. But as we've shown today, a favorite doesn't remain a favorite for very long here at MSI. It's upsets galore. Every team is a champion, remember, and that means that every team can make the big plays on the day.
And Gambit, they're pulling out all the stops. They came here to play some League of Legends, and they're playing some damn good League of Legends. The Karthus, the focus on the bottom lane, the Nocturne.
It's the willingness to experiment. That's what I really like about them. The willingness to say, Lodic, look, you're part-time League of Legends pro. Play Kai'Sa, carry our team. Play Jin, stand at the back line, help out. And then you've got these veteran players who just have such a wealth of experience and a wealth of champion pool that basically you can bring out anything on the day.
And, I mean, calling Lodic a part-time League of Legends player, I think has like a bad connotation to it.